Got to 60 goals in the Premier League, and he's done it faster than anybody else. They are extraordinary numbers he's clocking up, Ashley, aren't they?
They are, yeah. They are crazy numbers, and you look at 60 goals, 63 appearances is phenomenal. He's like what everybody says. He's a monster on the pitch, and to be getting them numbers there is incredible.
Before we have a look at the analysis from the weekend, just when you're standing next to him in the tunnel, which is quite tight at Goodison, certainly. Yeah. I mean, is it quite daunting?
He is, yeah. He's very daunting because of the size of him, and it's not just that the size and the presence that he's got. It's the way that he goes about his job on the pitch as well. He scores, like you say, the goals are phenomenal, but he's got all round, and I think if you see the goal at the weekend, the way that he gets up and leaps to score that header, is just incredible. The height that he gets on that.
We'll come to that. Penalty first, and Ashley is our designated penalty expert. So talk us through this one. What do you think?
Yeah, it's one of them again where the defender doesn't see the other defender coming in, Gvardiol, and for me, the referee, makes the decision, which is the correct decision.
You give a lot of penalties, doesn't he?
I do, yeah. I think they all are the penalties, to be honest.
If you think that's a penalty, I can't wait to hear what you say about the one last week.
But this one is, I think it's one of them where the referee sees that the defender doesn't see the other defender coming in, and he's off his blind shoulder. He just takes him out.
A different type of Haaland performance, Jamie. You were there.
I loved it. I commentated on it, and I've said this for a long time, that I actually don't feel we've seen the full package of Erling Haaland because of who he plays for. That's not a criticism, it's Pep's style. And when you come up against him, you know that yourself, you have to defend deep numbers, so hence why he doesn't get a lot of touches of the ball, and we just see him almost in the box, and he puts the ball in the back of net, and he's better than anybody at there. But I'm convinced there's more there, and I've seen it on probably a handful of occasions. Last season against Manchester United at home, last season against Arsenal at home. I think there was a game against Brighton where he just knocks a defender out the way last season, and this was another one. It was a devastating performance.
And now he's adding headers to the repertoire.
Yeah, and the one I love about this is actually his relationship with Kevin De Bruyne. It's not the assist from Kevin De Bruyne, actually. Wolves lose it, but as soon as the ball doesn't even get to De Bruyne, look at him scanning. Look at him where, because he knows as soon as De Bruyne gets it there, where does he always go? We know he goes to the back post. We know that, we've seen it so often. But De Bruyne actually then rolls it to Rodri, and he finds him. And this, for me, I absolutely love that. Seeing a centre-forward get up above a defender. I mean, the height he got was absolutely astonishing. I mean, the thought of coming up against him and dealing with that at the back post was just, look at this.
And then, actually, some pundits telling the full-back that he should be doing more to stop him scoring. What are you supposed to do in that situation?
I don't think there's a lot you can do. I think Semedo sums it up, the way that, his face is there, and he's got Haaland's knees in his head, basically. So I don't think you can do anything about that.
Look at it. I don't really know what to say. It's just, you can't quite believe somebody has got that high. And listen, we know who's probably the most famous for getting big headers for me, certainly Cristiano Ronaldo in the last few years. So it reminds us of that famous goal he got against Sampdoria for Juventus. And we're almost going to try and look and actually who got that was unbelievable. Ronaldo there, but Haaland, Ashley, I'll leave it to you. I don't want to upset anyone.
Well, I'm not going to upset anyone either, and I'm going to say Cristiano because he's obviously a former United player. I'm not going to go with Haaland. But
it's just the hang time, isn't it? It's extraordinary.
It is, and you look, both players, Cristiano's knees are, I think, above the defender's header there, whereas Haaland's there is level with Semedo's head, and it's like you say, that the hang time they get.
It's so similar, isn't it?
To then angle it and score as well is just
I actually think Haaland gets slightly higher.
But he's 6 foot, what is it, 6'4", 6'5" to start with?
So what is he there then? Is that another?
He's very tall there. he's about,
Listen,
he's about
amazing.
9
Let's
foot
put it
tall
that way.
there, I think.
But when I said that, I felt it was a complete centre-forward performance. So we've seen him just dominate a defender at the back post, bully him with a header. Now, when you spoke about how you play against Haaland, we don't see this a lot because teams don't really play like this. So he gets involved. Now, if I stop that there, defenders should be getting back in there. But because him with that pace to get there. We used to see that at Borussia Dortmund, a counter-attacking style, end-to-end football. Again, we don't see him so much because of the style of the team he plays. But look at this pace here. Again, just leaving people for dead. Gets across him, and he gets the penalty. It was a certain penalty, and he sticks that away. So we've seen him bully a defender. We've seen him put a penalty away. The pace he shows. But then Ash, 1v1 with the defender.
This again is, you know, I think Wolves are trying to pretty much play man v man, but you know, when you've got someone like this in this form, and I think Kilman done quite well on the day as well, up against him, but a great centre forward play.
But what's interesting about that, we talk a lot about what do you do when you play against City. So we sometimes criticise teams for being, they haven't had a go, they're deep and they can't get out, they can't get the ball. That's what happens when you try and press high or maybe go man for man and leave yourself 1v1. We've seen him absolutely dominate a defender at the back post with a header. We've seen him leave someone for dead with the pace, and then we've left him 1v1 with the ball at his feet. He needs to be man-marked. He needs to be marked by two players. That's why you go deep. We've had Ben Mee on the show talking about actually playing a back three and two men marking him, because when you leave him 1v1, he's unstoppable.
Jared Branthwaite had that experience recently, didn't he? Well, you were in the team as well, playing at City. What did he say about that one-to-one duel he was having with Haaland?
You know, I think it was a good duel that Jared was having with him. I think at the time in the game where, you know, we wanted to get on the front foot and we need to go and score, that you then start forgetting about the lower block and you then start pushing more and more players further forward. At that time, I think De Bruyne played the ball in behind, and the pace and power of Haaland at the time got himself past Jared and he scored. So it's like you say, it's one of the things that you play the low block, but at times you're going to have to try and come out and go and score a goal. You can't just sit in the low block the whole time, because you know City are that good that, you know, they're going to find a way through. You could do that for 90 minutes, but they'll still get a chance.
That's exactly what they want, isn't it? They want you to come out, and then they've got that space in behind. So two teams left in it, Arsenal and Manchester City, 2 weeks to go. How do you see it from here, Ashley?
It's exciting for them two teams. You know, I think if City win their game in hand, possibly it's theirs to throw away. But equally, they've both got tough games. Of course, Arsenal have got Everton on the last day of the season, so that's a really tough game.
Do you think one team deserves it more based on what you've seen?
To be honest, I think they've both been extremely good this season. So I wouldn't put it to either one team. I'd actually sit on the fence and say it's anyone's to take. Obviously, Arsenal, with how things went last season, they obviously want to get that title. They want to win it, but you know, City want to make history and make it for. Again.
And I think Arsenal are wondering, you know, I said before, they'd won 14 out of 16. They win the next two. They finish with 89 points. And I think Arsenal fans are thinking, what more can we do, Jamie? What would you say on that?
What I would say is, I think there's a feeling with City from sort of Liverpool in the past and Arsenal the last couple of years, is that how can you beat this City? But what I would say with Arsenal is that if you look at the last 10 champions here, we've got the points totals, really. Now, so the average points here is 91.2. That average right through there. But I would say Arsenal got 84 last season and are on for 89. I think if you don't get above 90, I don't think you can have too many complaints about not winning the league. So I get City are unbelievably won the treble, but what City have done last season and what they're on for this season, which you would think would be 91 points, that's not out of the ordinary. That's the norm for title winners. We've seen that in the past with other teams. You know, you think of Mourinho's Chelsea, Conte's Chelsea. So, yeah, there is a little bit of hope there. If City keep sort of getting late 80s, early 90s points, that does give you a chance. So it's not all doom and gloom for Arsenal now and the teams in the future if it continues like that.
Still incredible total, isn't it? And they changed the dial with that 100 points, 98.